Welcome to this Accomplished Beginners Blender tutorial number 1. The purpose of this tutorial is to demonstrate the use of animated materials and textures. I'll start out by subdividing the default cube and use the smoothness of 2 and number of cuts 5. Or maybe 6 or 7 or 8. That's good. And I'll use smooth shading. Can look at that, see what it looks like. That's good. Looks a little bit like a rock. Press 7 and 5 on the num keypad to get top view, and then select this light, Shift D to duplicate it, and select these two lights and Shift D to duplicate them. This way we get a more even illumination. I'll take 0 on the num keypad, select the frame of the camera, and then press G and Z twice, and then I can move in on this object. I want to be pretty close so we can see what's going on. Next step is to start animating or giving it a material. So we already have a material slot here. Just call it, we can just leave it as material. All I'm going to do now is just to change the color of it. I want it green. And then we'll shift to animation, the animation layout. Make sure that the materials tab is on there. And now we're going to animate this for 250 frames. We're at the first frame right now. The way to do this is you can hold your cursor above the field that you want to animate. Then you press I on the alphanumeric keypad. Like that. Then the field turns yellow, and you can see that you now have here that these 3 channels exist that are available for animation. I'll move forward the frame count. I go to frame 120, and I'll change the color to red. Make a change of the color like this. And then I press I again. The border of the field turns yellow, and you can see that there's another handle, an animation handle. I'll move forward to 250. And I want to turn it back to green. So after having done that, I press I again, and the new handle appears. So we can now back up to frame 1 and then press play, and you can see here in the 3D view how the color changes. We're also going to do this for texture, but then we will have to render it. I already have prepared some renders that does the exact same thing that we're doing here, but I'll show you exactly what you need to do. I'll add this texture to this object, and I will choose Stucky, Improved Perlin, Wall in, and let's look at it, see how that looks. And I want to change this color here to a dark red. I want to change the size to 8 in all dimensions. And then we need to allow for geometry, normal, and something like that, about 2.5. And you can see what that looks like. Then we do the same thing as with color. Go to Start, and I'll just hold my cursor above this field here, press I, and I do the same thing with turbulence. So now we have 2 channels there. Move forward to 120, change size to 0.35, and change the turbulence to 6, and press I over each one of those. And then go to 250 and change to 0.25 again, change back, and change the turbulence to 5. And press I, and press I. And if we play this, you will only be able to see the color is changing. You can't see the texture because it doesn't animate that in the preview. I'll switch back to default, and here we would render to a image sequence, and I have already done that. And this is the image sequence here, and then I have rendered the image sequence to a video, and this is what it looks like. So what we just did, when it's rendered, it looks like this. You can see how the texture is constantly changing, and we're also changing the color between red and or green to red, and then back to green again. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope this made sense. I hope also that you enjoyed it. And I thank you for listening, and I bid you a good day. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.